Welcome to Cloud on Air, live webinars from Google Cloud. You are watching Productivity and Collaboration with G Suite, where speakers discuss best practices, product launches, and key features. My name is Luke Camry, and today we will be talking about Google Doc Sheets and Slides. If at any time you have any questions, please enter them in the comment section below, where we have Googlers on standby to chat with. Let's get started. For the Docs team, we're looking at three main missions this year: group collaboration, assistive intelligence, and security and compliance. Specifically, we're looking to empower every team to create and share their best work. Our strategic strategies fall into these three buckets, and a lot of the launches you'll see today will fall into these three groups. So let's jump in. Group collaboration, often known as real-time collaboration, what Google Docs is known for, has become a key piece to collaborative workspaces with teams all across the world. Last year, we brought together Google Sheets and BigQuery so that users could expand the data analysis that was previously possible. The power of BigQuery was primarily accessible to people with specialized knowledge, like data analysts. This integration will make it possible for any user that can use Google Sheets to analyze billions of rows of data that are accessible in BigQuery. There's no specialized SQL knowledge required. It's as easy as using Google Sheets. With connected sheets, users will be able to connect to BigQuery tables and analyze data that would have been previously out of their reach, up to 10 billion rows. You can still create pivot tables, visualizations, and formulas just as you're used to doing in Google Sheets, but now with the power of BigQuery. It's as simple as going into the data menu, choosing a data connector, and picking a table that you have access to. Then you can go about using the data in BigQuery just as you're used to doing with the data in Google Sheets. You can see here analyzing a table with the preview of the BigQuery data, just as you're used to doing using normal Google Sheets. On top of that, we're making additional feature improvements to Google Sheets to help you better visualize and analyze structured data. The first is launching Filter and Sort by Color, a key feature that users have been asking for to help them manage data sheets that are organized around different color patterns. On top of that, we also have inline chart element customization. This will allow you to more quickly and more nimbly edit charts and visualizations in Google Sheets so that you can make them picture perfect. And even for non-connected sheets, we're expanding the data capabilities that are possible, making it so that you can analyze up to 10 million cells in a regular Google Sheet without even accessing BigQuery. And then for data beyond that, you can connect to BigQuery using data connectors for expanded analysis. Then moving on to presentations. This year, we're focused on making presentations much easier, much simpler, and expanding your capabilities as a presenter. So we already support embedding videos stored in Drive or YouTube, and over the next year, you should expect to see more features in this area to make your presentations even more powerful. On top of that, we've connected to Google Meet so that you can seamlessly present to a meeting or a larger audience using all the G Suite features together, adding your presentation to a video call seamlessly within the UI. Last year, one of our most popular launches was dynamic emails, the ability to reply to a comment thread from directly inside your Gmail inbox. This way, you don't even have to open up a document again to follow up with an action item or to respond to a colleague. Everything you need to do is right there in your inbox, and you can quickly move on, never even having to open the document. You can expect to see even more features in dynamic emails over the next year. We're continuing to invest in accessibility and making sure that our editors are accessible to all, and that any user, no matter what their abilities are, can access Google Doc Sheets and Slides. To that point, over the last year, some of our biggest accessibility launches were live edits, giving you the ability to see the changes that your collaborators are making in real time, making real-time collaboration even more accessible. In addition, live captions, so that when a speaker is presenting, you can see their words overlaid in real time and follow along. This is both a feature that's extra helpful for those who need it as an accessibility feature and useful for a general audience. In addition, we launched Braille line breaks for users who use Braille overlay in Google Docs. And we're making further fidelity improvements. In 2019, one of the biggest ones was section-based formatting. And over 2020, you can expect to see additional fidelity features to make migrating from Office to Docs even easier. On top of that, that's why in 2019, we launched Office Editing Mode, bringing the full power of Google Docs Sheets and Slides to all of your content. This gives you the capabilities to open and edit Office files without having to convert and without having to change the format. You can do everything you expect to be able to do in Google Docs, but now you can do it with your Office content. That includes adding comments. You can share and work with others using all of our famous collaboration features, but now brought to your Office content. This includes even real-time collaboration. You can work together with a team simultaneously on a Google Doc sheet or slide, even if it's in an Office format. So you don't have to change your normal workflow, even if you're working with Office collaborators. And on top of that, we've made sure that all of our intelligence features work, even on your Office content. So that way, you don't even have to think about what type of file format you're working with. You can just get your work done the way you're used to. And we've brought unsupported content transparency. This was a really big request from our users. When you converted a file to Google Docs, you weren't sure what changed from its original Office format. That's why we brought you this in-depth transparency that makes it very clear if there was anything that we couldn't support or that we had to change. And if you don't see the transparency warning, you know everything's entirely safe to edit. And all of this will have version history. One of the features users love about Google Docs Sheets and Slides, now brought to their Office content. So you can see whether an Office user uploaded an entirely new Office revision, or if a Google Docs user made the fine-grained changes you're used to seeing. All of that together in the version history feature, very easily accessible. And for the Office user, this collaboration capabilities makes it even easier to stay in sync with anyone who's using Google Docs. They can open the file in Office, see the changes that were made, see any comments that were added, and even edit and reply to those comments. And then once they've done that, those comments will show up again for the Google Docs user, just as the Office user made them, keeping both people seamlessly in touch. And for Office elements that aren't supported in Google Docs, for example, Excel macros, we keep that content around so that no one loses any data. You can safely edit in Office editing mode without the worry that any of your content will be lost or changed unexpectedly. This is a feature that's been available since May and is used every day by millions of people, and we highly recommend that you check it out. Now on to our assistive intelligence features. One of the most popular assistive writing launches in the last year was autocorrection. This is helping millions of users every day fix their spelling mistakes and has an incredibly high accuracy rate, so it's become extremely popular with our users. One of our other popular launches over the last year was neural grammar correction. Grammar errors are detected as a user writes, and Docs provide suggestions to make a document more legible. These go beyond even simple spelling mistakes to make your writing overall better. Just one of the many ways Google Docs helps make you a better worker by using our tools. And Smart Compose. Thinking ahead of what you've already written, this feature helps you write phrases that you haven't even come up with yet. One of the many ways we try and accelerate the way you work and make simple tasks just a little bit easier. On that theme, assisted data prep. This is one way where Google Sheets helps you prepare your data for analysis. Many of these grungy tasks that users are familiar doing with every day and have been doing for years and years, we're trying to accelerate, use the power of artificial intelligence to make these tasks just a little bit easier so you waste less time preparing your data and you can spend more time analyzing it. On top of that is Answers in Sheets. This helps you come up with insights for things you haven't even thought of yet. Another example of where we're accelerating your work, making it a little bit easier to do tasks that you do every day. Sheets will look at the data you've put into the file and think about anything it can find that might be an interesting insight for you to then further dig into through one of the visualization features you saw earlier, or to analyze further using some of the analysis tools we showed earlier in the presentation. Shifting gears slightly, we're adding a lot of features around the editors, not just as features inside of them. One of the ways you'll see this is with workflows, some of our exclusive G Suite features. The two workflows we're going to focus on today are approvals and drive labels. Approvals are a lightweight way for you to accelerate simple business processes. And they're integrated right into doc sheets and slides. So you can seamlessly request and approve files just as you would do with any other file in Drive. But you can see the approvals inside the files themselves, meaning that you don't have to go outside your normal workflow to request and approve files. And they're very lightweight and simple. It's very little work to request an approval, and it's very little work to respond to an approval or to approve a file. It's just another one of the ways we're trying to accelerate the way you work and make processes that you probably already have simpler and more intuitive with G Suite. And of course, these features are available on mobile in the same form you'd expect them on desktop, so that you can request and approve on the go and have access to your files everywhere, just as you've come to love and expect with G Suite. Another feature is Drive Labels. This is a metadata categorization feature to help you organize files, find files, and track processes. We wanted to make it very lightweight and intuitive so that you could uplift the way you work, taking old business processes where you used to have clunky or extensive label features and make it much easier to use in Drive with Google Doc Sheets and Slides. This will help you organize the way your content works. You can label a bunch of files that all relate to each other, or you can label files that are part of a process together. It's meant to be an extensible feature that can fit whatever business process you're trying to uplift using G Suite. And it's extremely flexible. You can set all different types of categories depending on what structured or unstructured data you're looking to represent. We wanted to make a system that was easy to use and very flexible so that no matter what process you're looking to bring to Drive, you can do it. And of course, admins and team leads have total control over how these labels work. And of course, these labels are meant to be integrated into the system and available for all the other features you're used to using. You can search over these labels, you can change them, add saved searches. It's meant to be directly integrated into everything else you're used to using in Google Drive. And of course, these labels work the same way across all files in Drive, including Google Doc Sheets and Slides. Now I want to shift gears to talking about where we're evolving sharing. Another problem we've constantly heard from our users is that it's difficult to share with users outside of G Suite when they don't have access to a Google account. For example, if you're working with an external contractor. We hear about this problem where you have someone who doesn't have a Google account, but who you need to share important business files with. And we know that in the past, users would either insecurely share it with a Gmail account created for this purpose, or export the file and share it outside of Drive. Neither is a way that you want your users to collaborate, and neither is particularly safe for important business documents. But we knew that in order to solve this problem, we needed to make something really easy and intuitive for both the sender and the receiver to use. So this is why we've launched visitor sharing, where you can share with anyone, no matter what type of account they use. As long as they have an email address, you can share a file with them just as you're used to doing in Google Drive. You simply share the file by putting their email in, and then they'll receive a PIN code to their email address, no matter who their email provider is. And they can very simply click on Open the File, put in the PIN code that they received in their email, and then they're into the file. It's as simple as that. And once they're inside the file, they can collaborate just like any other Google Docs user. It doesn't matter if you're collaborating with visitor users and then with normal G Suite users. It's meant to be seamless and transparent as if that person did have a real Google account. So that way, your business processes don't have to stop when you're collaborating with someone outside of G Suite. Now I want to talk a little bit about our security and compliance features. Over the past few years, G Suite has been working hard on making sure that we have the right compliance certifications so that anyone can bring their work to G Suite and uplift it, no matter what compliance regimes they need to make sure that they comply with. And on top of that, we've been ensuring that we put all of these in writing and making them really easy to understand. So if you look at G Suite's compliance page, which is very easy to find on gsuite.com/compliance, we've been putting all of these in clear writing and organizing them so it's extremely accessible. That way you can find any regime that you may need to comply with or any data regulation that you're worried about, and you can read exactly about how G Suite's handling it. So that way, no matter what type of data you work with, you can safely bring it to the cloud and uplift the way you work with G Suite. We've made our data processing agreements very easy to read and accessible on our site. And this includes many different scenarios that our customers have been worried about and have been asking, including how is my data deleted, under what timeline, what is Google's terms around a sub-processor, what are the auditing and reporting requirements, and of course, UK leaving the EU. All of that is covered in our DPAs, our data processing agreements, which you can find all laid out on Google Cloud's website. And we're committed to helping you comply with all the major certifications. This is one area we've been working on, from FedRAMP to the various ISO certifications, and you'll continue to see us innovate on in 2020. And of course, our security model, the Beyond Corp Zero Trust security stance, is something that made Google famous many years ago when we adopted it. And it's something we're committed to helping you use as a G Suite customer. So that way, no matter what devices your users use, whether they're on the go on mobile or on temporary computers, you can be sure that all of your G Suite resources are safe. This includes making Android phones capable as a security key. This is a recent launch that is something both Google uses and we encourage our G Suite customers to use as well, since this is one simple way to protect your users from hijacking. By not changing the way that they work or making them remember any new, difficult, additional security verification steps, they can simply use the phone that they always have on them as that double-check verification to make sure that they're the right ones getting into their account. This is in addition to all of the multi-factor authentication, or MFA, steps that Google is taking to make sure that our G Suite customers are just as safe as all of our Google.com users. whether you want to use a physical security key, which we recommend for the highest level of security, or you want to leverage many of the other options that we've enabled, such as phone-based authentication or the Android as a security key option you just saw. In addition to this, we'll always leverage our risk-based challenges to make sure if Google automatically detects anything might be suspicious about a session, that we will double check with the user to ensure that they haven't been hijacked. It's just one of the many ways that Google is proactively protecting your users so that you can get the best of Google's security just simply by using G Suite. And of course, the Advanced Protection Program, one of our biggest launches over the last year, is available for everyone now, and we highly recommend any of your senior executives or otherwise notable users to consider enrolling, since this brings the best of Google's security across the board for their Google account to ensure that even if they're at an additional risk of hijacking, Google will be there to make sure that we keep them safe. One of our other interesting security-based launches recently is context-aware access. This is a control that admins have often wanted. It's something that Google has been doing proactively, but now we're giving you visibility and control into as a G Suite admin. Depending on the context, when a user tries to authenticate and access a resource, whether it's their IP or location or their session age, we're giving you visibility and control into whether or not you want to allow that type of user to access that type of resource. And one of the exciting things about context-aware access is it works the same way across cloud, all of our Google Cloud Platform offerings, and G Suite. So it's a single set of controls for everything Google Cloud. Thank you for tuning in. Please visit Cloud On Air for more content from Google Cloud experts.